Greetings, Mindcrafters, and welcome to another exciting discussion today for sure on another Minecraft discussion on ACOA Part 7. Why many of us, those of us who grew up in addicted and or dysfunctional homes, are our own worst critics. So my name is Kimberly Quinn, and I am thrilled to have this chat today. And it's interesting because I often have my aha moments, through the whole process of these great, enjoyable discussions myself. And it's just, as far as the ACOA list, I think Janet Jeringer-White says like 13 things. Like, we don't know what normal is, and this, that, the harsh critics judging whole thing. Sometimes things are going to fit for you and me, and sometimes things won't, because obviously, just like anything else, just like ADHD or autism or anxiety, whatever, has a different face because we're all snowflakes. Same is true for ACOA. So some of them don't fit me as much either, though this one absolutely does. And also because I think I'm the oldest. I know I'm the oldest. I think that's why. And partially, but it doesn't have to be. So why often are ACOAs our own? Why do we judge ourselves so harshly? Why do we judge ourselves so harshly? We are so hard on ourselves, many of us. And I know for me, I was like that way most of my life. And then I did the work and, really got into the actively working at seeing my own value and loving and accepting myself. And so now there's no more room for that criticism. But that took years and years of work. Why? Because it's in the vault. Remember, too, that there's something called infantile amnesia up to age 3. So you may say, oh, I remember this, I remember that. No, you really probably don't, because outside of trauma, that's it. And even then, the memory's going to be skewed and stuff, so it'll be different. So that's in the vault. So think about 2.5-year-olds. They're walking around with lives, and they're talking about things in full sentences, and blah, blah, blah. They have full lives going on. Yet we don't have a memory of 3 or under for the most part, which means there's lots of stuff that was said to us, lots of stuff we saw, experienced, whatever, that we can't really access. Then we also talked about the confirmation bias. So confirmation bias is actively seeking out what we already believe to be true. And remember the second part of it, there's that. Seeking out what we already believe to be true, all the ways we're not enough, let's just say, while also ignoring evidence to the contrary. Which is why it's also, it can be very difficult for us to accept compliments. So we are our own harsh critics. Why? The answer is in one word: shame. So remember that shame is this excruciating feeling, the most excruciating feeling a human being can possibly experience. So, which is why we don't want it and move along to other people. So just remember that when we're talking about shame, that's different from guilt. Guilt says, I made a mistake. It's an action word. I made a mistake. Hopefully keeps us in check from doing, not so nice things to people. Shame says, I am the mistake. I am the mistake. Shame is that horribly excruciating feeling of sort of believing and feeling as if we're defective, flawed, damaged goods, not enough, in the myriad of ways we cannot be enough. So think about this. Because shame is so excruciating, no one wants to hang on to shame, we kind of move it along like a hot potato. So parents in addicted and or dysfunctional families throw it onto each other, throw it onto 2-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 15-year-olds, whatever, because we don't want to hold it, because it's too freaking painful, right? And so it's also important to remember that when we project emotions on other people, in the Freudian sense, those defense mechanisms, which is what they are unconscious. So does it give that addicted or dysfunctional parent a pass? No, it doesn't. Does it help to explain it, describe it, understand it? Yes, but they don't get a pass, of course not. So here's the thing. This is the very logical, very simple way to explain why shame is such a horrible cycle. Because it's the spiritual and emotional equivalent of drinking turpentine for breakfast instead of OJ, right? So it's all these seed beliefs of how defective we are on the hard drive, and we're then throwing them onto the other parent. Again, the 2-year-old, 4-year-old, 8-year-old, 15-year-old, 20-year-old, whatever. And so it perpetuates that feeling of the parent just threw their most inner insecurities about all the ways they're not enough, even if it didn't come out that way necessarily, onto you. So now you're feeling not enough, and there it goes, and there it goes, and there it goes. And so it's no big shocker when we ACOAs learn and are conditioned to actively seek to confirm what we already believe to be true about ourselves. We're not smart enough, social enough, outgoing enough, athletic enough, artistic enough, helpful enough, whatever enough. And these become so much a part of our hard drive because that shame is leaking through us like battery acid. So again, it's no big surprise that this is the behavior that that shapes us and then continues on through to adulthood. So remember that the number one with this whole thing, remember, we can't do what we don't know. However, once we become aware, we become responsible. Dr. Dave, that's his quote. So once we become aware, then it's different because since we can't do what we don't know, okay, but once we know better, we then need to do better. So we can become aware of our sort of moving towards, critiquing ourselves and being our own harsh critics. Then what we can do once we're aware is start to catch ourselves and have a mantra, okay? This is not my fault, or maybe it is my fault. Maybe I made a mistake, but I'm not the mistake. I made a mistake, not I am the mistake, okay? And also being able to accept compliments, because another part of the harsh critic thing is we did something great. Maybe we had the idea for a project. We were a team player on a big team. We did 85% of the work because we just rolled with it. Rather than, it's not a genuine modesty when we say, oh no, I really didn't do that much. Oh no, we really shared that idea even if it wasn't true. It's not genuine modesty, or genuine humility is a better word. It's a distorted reality because that's what we're used to. This brilliant idea couldn't possibly be mine because I don't believe I'm brilliant. That's really what we're saying right there. And so it's so important to catch ourselves in that habit, because that's what it is. It's a habit. And then shift out of, no matter how uncomfortable it is, acknowledging that it's uncomfortable. That's a good thing to do. To look somebody in the eyes while they're giving you a heartfelt compliment. And even if it's hard and you want to bounce around in your skin, and just take it in and feel the goodness of that. Take it in and feel the goodness of that. And then catch ourselves. Remember, we're not reaching for that perfect bar. It doesn't help us. Okay? Progress, not perfection. So if you catch yourself being critical of yourself, do like this. Like, you know what? I caught it. Even if I didn't redirect it and do anything with it, at least I caught it. I caught that I was entering this self-loathing, self-deprecating, even if it was here only, that's still, here's bad enough. I caught it. Good for me. Good for me that I have the courage to listen to these podcasts and watch these videos. Good for me that this has expanded my desire to face all this stuff, and I'm now reading some books, and I picked up one by Claudia Black and Janet Geringer-Woitzitz and whoever else is. There's lots of people out there working on this stuff, and now I'm really into it, and now I'm educating myself as much as I can. Good for you. Excellent. Good for you. Okay, so why ACOAs judge ourselves so harshly? That is absolutely, this is one that fits me like a glove. I mean, not anymore because I've worked through it. Do I catch myself on occasion? I do. I definitely do. Got to stay on top of that stuff. Though the work gets a lot less, like anything else, violin, soccer, it doesn't take as much maintenance once you kind of get in the groove with it. Though I tell you, for years and years and years, nothing was good enough for my family. So I learned, okay, getting straight A's, getting whatever good grades, because I was like lasagna noodle with my, fast mind, but getting good grades, being captain of the ski team, being on the dean's list, none of it was good enough. See, the only way for it to be good enough is for you to bring that approval meter back on the inside, show yourself some love and compassion, and start to see your own value. And remember also that to fake it is to make it. That is okay. If you're not actually genuinely feeling it yet, you will. Just start to say the positive stuff to yourself. I am enough exactly as I am. I'm a human being, not a human doing. I am enough exactly as God, the universe, higher power created me, and that's it. And just work into it, because you will not be your own harshest critic forever if you're on this path. You are on the path to self-love, and that is where you are headed. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from my kitchen in northern Vermont. Have a mindful, less judgmental day.